Hey everyone, thanks for stopping back by my channel. I greatly appreciate that you came by to see me today. What I wanted to show you was how I store mostly my unmounted stamps. In the collab video that I did early in March, in the middle of that video I took a tour of my art space. And I've been asked by a few people, show me those stamps. I have them standing up in a bookcase that I have, and you can't really necessarily tell what it is or what they were from the video. So here we go. What I do is I use these containers, and let's see if I can do this without a bunch of glare, called Stampendous, and they are thin stuff-tainers. Now, they also do make two other sizes. These are very thin, as you can see. They make some thicker ones, and then they also make some, I think, that are thick, but are smaller. These are 8.5 by 11. So, what I do, let me get these out of the way. What I do is I take my unmounted stamps. Now, they can be cling stamps or just regular rubber. And I number each one of these containers just with a piece of washi tape, and I put the number on it. Nothing fancy. And they are two-sided. I put a piece of chipboard or cardboard in the middle, and that allows me, like I said, I hope they're kind of sliding, that allows me to get get two-sided. So here are just the first two that I have. I probably have 80 some of these. That's a little bit of an expense, I agree. However, it works for me. I have tried other things. First, I tried just using big envelopes and stamping the stamp image on the front of the envelope, and then that's what would be down in the envelope. And of course, they all settle to the bottom, and then you've got these flaps up here, and it's all thick at the bottom and kind of slide everywhere in the drawer. And then the next thing that I tried, and I still actually do have this one left, but this is a VHS box. And in this box, excuse me, what I had done in the past, this has a sleeve on the outside. So I put wallpaper inside of this plastic sleeve, and then down the spine I cut with my Cricut machine numbers, so they all were numbered, and I stand them up on the shelf so they were like a library, some books. So here it is. This one I have not cut these little circles out of it. These protrude pretty well, and I was afraid they'd damage my stamps. I don't have so many in here that it's a problem. But I had taken my Dremel tool and had flattened at least these ones that stuck out really a whole lot. So, again, I probably, had about 80 of those. And I simply posted them one day, and I had a taker for them. And I sold them pretty cheap. She got a deal, but they just didn't fit my purpose anymore, because when I had, like, bigger stamps, they just wouldn't fit in here. And if you got some that did have the cling backs and they were bigger, you could only maybe get 3, 4, 5 in here. You couldn't get very many. So with this system, I can get a pretty good amount of stamps in here. And in the grand scheme of things, they don't really take up a whole lot of room, because I put them, I stand them up this way and I slide them in and out so that the number is in the same corner. And then it's easy for me to flip through and find them. Now, you say, well, how do you know where your stamps are? You've got them in those clear containers. Do you flip through those containers? No, I don't. What I have done is I have just taken plastic binding, got me a cheapy little machine from Office Depot or Staples or wherever, and just took me some colored paper. And what I do is I stamp the image on the page, and I number the corresponding plastic folder that I put them in. So all of these stamps on these 2 pages are in container number 1. And then I just go through and I do that all the way. So all I have to do is sit down with this book and flip through, and I can see what stamps I have and where they are, what container they're in. Again, this works great for me. Now, a little side note, one thing that I have done is I have a few alphabet sets, and I have a lot of words that are rubber stamps. Now, the words, if they are unmounted, they are in those little containers as well. But if they are mounted, I have them in a drawer. All of my alphabet stamps, mounted or unmounted, are in one of the drawers. So at least the alphabet is together, and for the most part, words are together, either in the drawer or in the containers. Now, once in a while, words will come with other stamps. Well, I leave the set alone. I don't take that apart. The other thing that I have separated, let me see if I can find it quickly. Yeah, I have my artist trading card backs that I stamp on those before the swap. I have those in a container off to the side of my desk here. There's 2 pages of them because, there was a time when I really used them a lot. Now, I have 2 more, well, I actually have more than 2, but I have 2 of these books. These are now mounted stamps. Now, if you remember, if you watched my video, and if you haven't watched my video, I will link it below so you can go back. These are the mounted ones. I keep those in one of those carts on wheels in the drawers, pretty much by, theme. And then in the video, you'll see I have a wall unit that my husband had built for me, and it kind of puts my stamps a little bit on display. It makes it easy also for me to get them. But this is, pretty much the library of my mounted stamps. So again, I can just grab this if I know it's a mounted stamp that I'm looking for, and, or if I'm looking for something and I'm not sure what I have. The other thing that I have is I have a book of sets. Now, if it is a set of stamps, it may be numbered. It might be in one of my plastic containers, or if it's like a Tim Holtz on those cards, I have just those in a crate that, they stand up and I can just flip through. But if it's in a bin or in a plastic container, it's going to be numbered. The other thing that I like about this is how many times have you bought the same stamp again? There's even been a couple of times where I have bought the same stamp 3 times. Now that's crazy. So taking this book with me and spending a little bit extra time when I go to a stamp show is well worth it, because those stamp shows come around, once a year. I have never taken anything back to them to swap. I always find someone just for the most part to give it to. I don't need 2 or 3 of the same stamp. So these booklets come in very handy for that. Again, this was time consuming to set up, especially going from the envelopes, having stamped them all, and then into the boxes, and I need to stamp them again for the book. And then when I did these plastic containers, again, I had to stamp them all. But this is it now. I'm happy with this. It doesn't take up much room because, like I said, I can stand them up like books too, and they're so thin. This is the way I'm going to do it. And I even have one of these where I have like miscellaneous things in, where like all of the embossing folders, I will emboss kind of like a half of an index card, and I've got like a little flip thing where they're all in one of these. And it's just so much easier when you're going to be going somewhere. I mean, we buy too much stuff. We all do it, but we don't need to buy things that we already have. So the only thing I guess I don't really have in any kind of book is my die cuts. There was a time when I had a piece of paper that had the numbers of like all the Sizzix dies. But then I started getting Spellbinders and other brands, and all that kind of went out the window. I guess the only other thing I have listed is Cricut dies, Cricut cartridges. I do have those in a list, and I keep that with me all the time because, you know, if I ever come across a good bargain on those, I want to know right then and there if I should go ahead and buy it or not. And I guess that's really it on my stamp storage. And I know some of you are saying, what does she have that smiley face there with Mike Rowe? Well, I guess I have a big girl crush on Mike Rowe. And I've had it for a long time. When he was in that Dirty Job show, man, he could make me laugh. And it's really hard to make me belly laugh. I mean, yeah. So he's one of the few people that can. And now he has a show on Facebook called Returning the Favor. And what he does is surprises people who do, as he says, bloody good deeds. And, you know, they do better than the average. And it's a great show. It will make you laugh and cry. And I don't know. I think he's a good human being. I would love to meet him. And remember when we would do like dream boards and wish boards. So I guess you could say I would have him on mine. And so I figured, how's he ever going to know that I would like to give him a big girl hug and tell him what a good human being he is, unless I put it out there in the universe? So that's what I'm doing today, and if I can remember, I'll try to do it in the future. He also has a foundation where he gives scholarships to individuals to send them to kind of like trade school type for construction. And, you know, they learn the trades. So, you know, he's out there trying to take care of the average Joe. And we all need that. And we need to laugh and care about each other along the way. So, Mike Rowe, I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. And one day you're going to get a hug from this woman. I just don't know when or where, but one day. Anyway, everybody, thanks for coming by. Listen to me ramble a little bit there at the end. But, you know, if you have a great way that you store your stamps and, you know, it's easy accessible for you and it works, let us know. I do have a Facebook group, and it's also called Larkin Lane Creations. You know, come by, join that group, and post your pictures of how you store your stamps. Or if you've done a little video, let us know. I'm curious about it, and I'm sure others are too. Like I said, this was my third try at getting them organized, and hopefully this will be my last. And I know it's a little expensive, but it works for me. But anyway, thanks for coming by. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. And tell your friends. Give me that thumbs up to let me know that you like what I'm up to. And please, by all means, come back by. And I will see you all down the road. Thanks for coming by. Catch y'all later. Bye.